Hey guys, it's Marcus Maloney, the Equity King, coming to you here from the sunny Southwest Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time here, this channel is all about the intricacies of real estate investing and wholesaling, particularly. Land is the pathway to financial freedom, and wholesaling usually is the first way in your entry into getting into real estate investing. So today, without further delay, I am here with Mike Prete. He is here with me here in Phoenix, Arizona. We have actually done quite a few deals together. So this is not some random person that I just happened to call and said, hey, can you be on the show? This is somebody that we have actually made money together, have 3 deals in escrow now?
Right now, yeah.
3 deals in escrow now and working on a portfolio package. So again, we like to shoot you straight and give you the raw and uncut of real estate wholesaling and real estate investing as a whole. So Mike, I don't have your bio in front of me. So what I would like for you to do is just introduce yourself to the followers, the general public here, and we'll roll right into real estate investing and wholesaling in particular.
Let's do it. All right, Mike Prete. My company is We Heart Houses. You can go to wehearthouses.com and learn more about me. For me, a little bit about me. Let's see. I got into real estate because I wanted something better in my life. So even from a kid, I was always like, I grew up back east, middle, lower class area. I thought I was going to be a handyman or something. So, but my gut told me that wasn't me, right? So I always lived my life wanting more and knew I was more capable of what I thought was going to happen. So I was working at Verizon Wireless here in the Phoenix area, customer service, taking phone call after phone call, and I was working 2 to 11. 2 in the afternoon, 11. It takes an hour to get there, so you're actually working like 12 to 12 after you're getting ready, driving, traffic, all that stuff. So this was probably 09, I would say.
Okay.
And the market was down, and water cooler talk, right? Everyone's like, oh, you ever hear like Hot Pads? There was like all these websites, Hot Pads, Zillow, Truly, all those sites. They're saying, I was online and there's houses for $5,000. There's houses for $10,000. In Phoenix, that's unusual. Maybe if you're like in the Midwest, you might be able to find opportunities like that. But in Phoenix, in a major city, that was unheard of. So just my gut's like that doesn't sound right, And at this time, you're watching HGTV, and you're like, what? They're flipping houses. They're making 80 grand. All this stuff. It looks like so magnificent. So I was like, let me look into this, and I kind of went into the whole surfing the internet and diving in. When I want to find something out, I figure it out. So I was Googling, and when we're new investors, all you think is, oh, I only could flip or a landlord. Yep. It's like that's all you just know generally, or a real estate agent, right? So where do I go? What do I do? So it's like, oh, you got to flip a house. Okay, so you need thousands of dollars. I don't have credit. I don't have money. I work 20 hours a day, whatever it was. So when and where and how is all this going to happen? So I don't have the money. I don't know how to swing a hammer, nor do I want to swing a hammer. So I was like, okay, fix and flip sounds a little crazy. What about landlording? Okay, so you got to buy the house, fix it up, and then you get like a few $100 a month. How's that even make sense? Like, where do you make the money and when? That takes too long for me. Forget that. So I saw wholesaling real estate. Never heard of it.
So first, before you get into wholesaling, you had a lot of challenges that you had to overcome mentally just to figure out what you wanted to do in order to get into real estate investing. So that's one thing that I tell people is that you have to get over the mental aspect of what you can't do and try and find a solution for what you can do to help you get started.
So true. Yeah. You got to find the solutions, right? So you got to find the help, the leverage, or other people around you. Is ultimately what I ended up doing was found wholesaling, started Googling it, and then I found a guy, Tyrone Taylor, who had 100 free videos on wholesaling, which I think you're pretty close. You probably got just as much almost. So I just started doing it. So I watched the videos, So I would wake up at 6 to 12, and I would do the videos, what the video said, even though I didn't know the outcome or what was. I kind of knew what was supposed to happen, but I just did what it said to do. So I put out bandit signs, and I did driving for dollars. So that ultimately led me to my first deal. I bought in the Maryville area of Phoenix. I bought a condo for $12,000, or I got it under contract with an option agreement that I downloaded online to get this under contract. And it was a gentleman where his mother was getting ill and he needed to move back to Kentucky. So he didn't care. He had to go. He had to take off. He had to get out. What they say, get out of Dodge.
Yep. Motivation.
So he needed to sell. So I got it under contract for $12,000, and then once I did that, I got my second deal driving for dollars, and then I met someone. I was at work. Someone called my Craigslist ad. I was trying to sell the house because I didn't have a buyer's list. I just put it on Craigslist. So the guy was like, "Hey, let's meet up." I saw you. He didn't say meet up. He was like, "I'm calling about your property." And I was like, "I know this guy sounds familiar. His name and his voice." I actually went to school with him in high school.
Oh, sweet.
So I touched base. He was like, "Hey, I'm calling about the property." I was like, "Is this so and so?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "He's like, come to the office." And I was like, "Okay." He said, what opened my eyes up, I didn't realize later, was like, "Bring all your dead deals." I was like, "Why do you want my dead deals?" They said no. It's like a waste of time. Nope, just bring them. Brought 20 deals or 20 leads that said no to me, just from my driving for dollars and bandit signs, and he turned them into 4 deals.
Wow! So he took your dead deals or dead leads and turned them into 4 deals.
Yeah.
Awesome. But the main thing was the power of implementation. You watched everything online. You learned. You were following, some people on YouTube. But instead of just sitting behind your computer, watching and listening and reading, you went out there and you started doing a driving for dollars. You went out there, you started talking to sellers. You went out there, you started putting in offers, although you had no idea what you were doing. Yeah. In the contract, you downloaded, offline. So that's why I tell people it's the power of just getting started. Get out there, do something, and things will start to materialize.
So true, and like even a mistake in that situation. So the seller, so what I did was I had no clue what I was doing. So what I did was there was another person I found online, and she was talking about selling condos. How do I sell my wholesale condo? And she said, "Oh, just send a letter to everyone in the condo complex and let them know you want to sell a condo." So that's what I did. And then a lady called me. She was actually the head of one of the partners of the HOA, and she owned like 30 units in there. She was like, "Yeah, I'll buy it. When can I see it?" So I invited her. She saw it. I had the seller there. I had her there. I didn't know if it was an explode or if it worked. I was supposed to do that. But I sold it to her for $17,000. I bought it for $12,000. And then it was funny because the contract I downloaded, usually it says, "Oh, buyer will pay all closing costs" when you're selling it to the end buyer. And for whatever reason, the contract I downloaded said, "I'll pay all the title insurance." So she was reading it and she was like, "So you're going to pay all the title insurance?" I was like, "Yeah, of course. Let's do this," not knowing. Yeah. So I think that cost me like $600-$700 off my first deal, but I made $4,500 my first. What was that? 12 into 17, whatever the numbers are. Yep. But I'll take the loss, but I will never do that again. So I fixed it, right?
Yep.
You test, you mess up. You just don't do that mess up again. So you fix it and you just keep going. So that was a little learning.
That was awesome, and that's one thing that I tell you guys. Everybody is so fixated on, "I got to build a buyer's list. I got to build a buyer's list. I got to build a buyer's list." Do what Mike did. Do what I did. Just get that property under contract and Craigslist. That's how I did my first deal. Got the property under contract, put it on Craigslist, and honest to God, literally 15 minutes later, I had someone to call me and I had a $17,000 wholesale fee on that first deal. And like I tell people, the power of the testimony. 2 people have done the same thing and it worked. So you're not just hearing it from me, but you're hearing it from someone else. And I didn't even know that story, Mike. So yeah, awesome. That's great. So let's continue to go into it. So now you see kind of where the market is now with real estate investing. You've done hundreds of deals. We're in Phoenix. This is one of the hottest markets in the nation. Where do you see, real estate investing and wholesaling going in the future?
All right. Well, the standard answer you probably always hear is, I don't have a crystal ball, right? So what I will say, it's hard. So I also get into there's some people I follow and respect that I will get their emails and watch their videos and so on, and they're doom and gloom. Like, these are smart businessmen are like, yo, you need a bunker, you need extra gallons of water, you know what I mean? You need seeds to plant, your own farm. And then there's guys that are like, I respect that are like, it's great, it's beautiful out there, and it's gonna keep going, you know what I mean? Right. So what do you do, right? Where do you take it? You just gotta, as a wholesaler in Phoenix, you just gotta, we're in the trenches, right? So it's like, you gotta just go with your gut, pay attention to what you're seeing, educate yourself, go to the local RIA meetings, get the market updates, talk to other investors, what are they feeling? Because you can catch little trends. Being a small company, you can catch little signs and little gut feelings before they happen, and protect yourself. And then one thing I like to say is, you don't let the market run your business. So you have to have a strategy for every market condition. As you grow, you'll learn that. To say where it's at, I'll say it today. It looks good based on the market updates. I see it's looking well. Based for next year or two is what I see and what I've read. So but things can happen, right? So let's say you pay attention to the news, right? There's clues in the news. So interest rates go up, right? So maybe that'll drive some people to go get loans and get some home sales going, right? Yep. So that might help to fix some flippers. But ultimately, it's cheaper to buy than rent right now. But if interest rates keep going up and the values keep going up, your mortgage payment's going to go up. Then it may hit a point where it might be better to rent. Right, you may hit that critical mass, right, where you say, okay, well, I can't continue to rent, or I can't buy, so I have to do something. So one thing that I know that I speak to a lot of novice getting into real estate wholesaling is, they say, well, there's tons of competition out there, especially here in the Phoenix market. We have Sean Terry, Cody Sperber, and quite a few other people that do deals here. As local person, I've been telling everybody, continue to keep going. There's deals out there for everyone. What do you subscribe to, Mike? Subscribe to? Yes. Like in regards to? As far as, the competitive edge, how competitive it is out here. Well, okay. That can be a big thing. So I think you just gotta put your nose down and focus forward and do your business. There's strategies you can do. There's still deals out there, right? Like you said, we have 3 working on. We're talking about buyers on Craigslist. I sold a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo on Craigslist. Wasn't even an investor, right? But he had cash. So it's like, you just gotta be out there doing it. And you gotta, whatever you can afford to do with the money you have or the resources you have or leveraging people. I was always taught, if you want, you gotta get your business moving forward. So you gotta hire someone. You can trade, barter, defer payment, just to get the resources you need to go forward. So what can you do? So where was I going with that? so you just got to be out there doing it. So then you can talk about advertising, or people say branding, and there's all these little things you can do to maybe set yourself apart, right? Okay. From sales skills to building trust in the marketplace. So it's a pretty big conversation. Right. so let's, since we're catering to our novice that's just getting started, tell me, what is something that is essential that newbies must learn before they get started? What is something that they have to learn before they just jump out there? Because everybody say, just jump out there and start doing things. Well, what do you think is a trait or something that they should do or learn before they just jump out there? Okay, I'm just going to give 2 little answers. One, traffic times conversion equals revenue, right? So you need traffic. So I did mention advertising, branding. So if it's newbie, you need leads, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need your phone ringing, or you need to be out there making their phone ring or calling someone. Your highest impact activity as an investor is analyzing and writing offers. So that's what you need. You need to figure out, how can I make offers on properties? How can I get people to call me to make offers? So there's a lot of resources out there to do that. So then when you get that lead to come in, you ultimately that's the traffic, you gotta convert it, right? So that's when my story, when I was saying is, I was able to, when I linked up with that investor, and when I first started and I did 30 deals my first year, I knew how to market. I had a background in making the phone ring, where he had the experience to convert deals. So hence the 4 out of the 20, which I had no clue. So and when you're in that position, you could see the invisible, right? Because you've been in the business. So it combined and worked, right? So what's the next step in, converting? You want to build your knowledge, but I'm going to go off a little bit what a lot of people don't talk about and say is build rapport. And I think rapport is used lightly. So I Googled the definition real quick, because I just in case we talked about this.
Sure.
Rapport, a close and harmonious relationship in which people or groups groups understand each other's feelings and ideas and communicate well. So I think things are changing. Like how can you build rapport with someone instantaneously, right? If you got to get on the phone call, remember, you bought the program, right? You got the same letters going. You got 500 people bought the same package in the same city. They're getting the seller's getting the same letter. They're getting the same phone script, and they're getting the same, maybe new, not as much experience, right? Conversation with 10, 15, 20, 30 people. So how do you got to set yourself apart.
Right, exactly.
So you always hear people do business with people they like, right? If I wanted to go see a movie, I'm gonna go, Marcus. What because I trust your opinion and I like you and all that. So how can you build that with somebody immediately or faster than normal? Because everyone's gonna go on the phone with the seller. Oh, is that your dog barking? Oh, what kind of dog is it? I got it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. My aunt has that dog, which is cool. It helps. It helps try to hit that commonality, right? So I'll say build rapport. There's a few things you can do to do that.
Okay, so you talk about getting the phone to ring and everything like that. So what did you use? What tools did you use? What kind of marketing did you use? Direct mail, Facebook ads, videos. What did you use to get that phone to ring? And I know that this was some years ago, but some of the things that we did back then is still applicable today.
Oh yeah.
So just tell our viewers kind of what tools or what resources you use to get that phone to ring.
Let's do this. I was actually, look at this. So it, you know what I mean? So sometimes you get positioned online that things are hot new things. I still do the same things. My phone, right? The old word was Rolodex, right? So my phone, I make money off of relationships. Relationships are the most important thing in our business. So Hartford, I got that joint venture with another. It's a deal, Hartford deal. So it's closing today, right? Is that one closing?
Yes.
Okay, so I got that from another investor, and I'm closing it with Marcus. So relationships, right? I got Cortez, another one, relationships. Alan, I sent him a letter 6 months ago, and we've been just talking about his houses to purchase. We're about 50-60% of the way there. That's going to be going in escrow. So that's just from a direct mail campaign and following up, keeping them in your system, keep it in touch, right? Building the rapport, building a relationship. He could be calling anyone in the world right now, but we're getting closer and closer every day to get into escrow with him. So that's
and before you stop, Mike, the key thing that you said this was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen immediately. Like some people say, hey, send out some direct mail and your phone will start ringing and you'll close a deal within 30 days. As you can see, this is 6 months ago. So sometimes that phone will ring immediately, but sometimes you have to warm that seller up to selling with you back to that building of rapport.
Yeah. Yeah. So a couple more examples. Hubble, that was absentee list, direct mail. Once again, postcard. Nothing special. I got the list from my title company for free. Libby, door knocking. I have a door knocker knocking pre-foreclosures. They have a foreclosure on their second mortgage. Avondale, that was a driving for dollars. Let's see. So Dan, this guy, he has land in Buckeye. That was another direct mail one, which actually it was that was not direct mail. That was Dan. So Dan's an agent, which he got it from another agent, which I have a buyer of land in Buckeye. So so is it referrals again?
Yep.
Agents. So once again, being in the business, being active, networking, meeting people, building relationships. It all worked. It all works. Nothing doesn't, right?
Yeah, you just have to get out there and you have to start doing. So Mike, you've done, hundreds of deals, and actually Mike helped me do a couple of deals that I was stuck on. So you always have to have somebody in that relationship where you can go to and glean some information from. So Mike, tell me about the worst deal you've ever done.
Worst deal, okay. So doing a lot of wholesale deals, I've been fortunate. So this is gonna be a wholesale scenario. So I have rentals, but so far so good. So I don't have like deals where like, oh, I lost all this money. But I could tell you a story. Once upon a time, it was maybe 2012. I was in Vegas, enjoying myself.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because I closed some deals, and so this deal here, I was buying leads online. It was another scenario, right? So someone was doing the marketing. They have landing pages out there, and then people submit their leads into the landing page, and then I pay monthly, and they send them to me, and I call them. So I was calling this guy Scott for 6 months, maybe. Every couple weeks, built, good relationship, chatting. He called me back. He didn't ignore me, so he just wasn't always ready to sell yet. So once again, follow up, and then it was like, it was like 6 months or whatever I think it was. And I called, left a message, and hear back. And then I got a return phone call from a lady saying, hey, I'm Scott's sister. Scott passed away. And if you still want to buy the house, I just want to get rid of it. So built a conversation with her, called her back. Yep. We were going back and forth. It was very easy. She was like, hey, I'm looking through his desk here, and you guys have been talking forever. It says you were going to pay him $5,000. It was the worst part of town. Plus things were down back then. It was a crappy house. She was like, hey, I'm just trying to close out the estate. If you want it, based on the notes, I'll just sell it to whatever you guys had. I was like, all right, let's do it. Sent her the contract, open up escrow. Then I was in Vegas. Enjoying yourself, right? What do you do out there?
Yep.
Hanging out, not a worry in the world.
Partying.
Yeah, imagine that. It's great. So, I get a phone call. And I missed it, obviously. I went back to the hotel room, checked my voicemails, work, and all that stuff. And she was like, hey, the deal's done. I don't know who you are, what you are. It's over. It's done. Don't even call me back. And I was like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To take it a little step further, I had an escrow and I already had a buyer because I called another friend that's an investor, that was a landlord, and he was going to buy it for $16,000. So it was like $11,000 deal. And I was like, I was super happy. So then I got that, my heart just, I was like, oh, what happened? What's going on? So I called her. She was like, what do you want? Who are you? Blah, blah. You're not really, someone called me and told me something about you, blah, 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 and all this stuff.
Really?
I was like, whoa, okay. Well, what so basically she said, someone called saying I was like a fraudulent investor and I don't do deals and I make things up and I never did a deal, whatever nonsense they had. So I ended up finding out that they saw my deal on Craigslist. I put the address on there, right? And they hunted down the seller. I don't know how. There's programs out there, right? You just find the person, whatever it is.
The seller.
They did. They found her and positioned themselves like big and great, whatever. This is the terrible thing about it. This lady's brother just died, and she's just like stressed out. Let's get it over, and then you hit her with that.
Yeah.
It flipped her up, and she didn't know who to trust or what to do. She just needed to get everything done and wrapped up. So I ultimately hired a lawyer and did a cease and desist on that person. Right? So then we all lose, right? Yep. Once you hire a loser, we all lose. So it's like I'm spending money, that person's spending money, everyone's arguing, and it was a stress on myself, right? That's just a headache. You're upset. You're mad. It was just dumb.
So, and then
Yeah.
I talked to people, and in my last video, I said, hey, you know what? You have to have money to be in this business. And that was one of the things that I was saying was, you know, eventually somewhere down the line, either someone is going to try and sue you or you're going to need to sue someone. So, and that's just a classic example of someone trying to find your deal and trying to steal your deal out from up under you. So,
it doesn't happen often. I would say it. You know, I may have had some calls, like people trying to get deal. Oh, someone else called me. Well, I already had it under contract. But don't let that bother you or sway you from doing this. That was a unique scenario. Only happened once out of 7 years. It was just one bad situation, and you move on. And always settle it. You know, you don't want to go down that road. Just talk. Try to, if the other person's somewhat of a human, just talk about it and hash it out and move on. Don't even go down that route.
So we're going to start picking it up a little bit here. And Mike, before we leave here, we have an audience of beginners. What do you want to share with them before you leave?
Share with them before I leave. And anything specific, or
let's do one character trait that a newbie investor should have.
Character trait. Okay, so I will say, like, kind of what we touched on in most of the talk. I would say is patience, right? Because it doesn't happen overnight. It can happen quickly. Whatever happen is for you, getting your first deal, being rich, quitting your job, whatever it may be, it can happen quick. My first deal happened in 45 days. But I've seen people where it took 3 months, 6 months. It just depends on what you put into it. You have to be patient. It will all happen as long as you. My second part of the patience is momentum, right? So you got to have momentum. You can't just go, all right, I put out 100 letters. I knocked on 10 doors and then take 2 weeks off.
Yep.
Right? Can it still happen ultimately? Maybe, yeah. But it's going to take longer. You got to build the momentum. You got to be patient. Look at your goal, work towards it every single day, get people to help you, build that momentum, because just by being in the business, things happen. So you ever hear that story, 3 feet from gold in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich? Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Basically, you know, the guy was 3 feet from gold and he sold his land in the minor days in San Francisco, right? And then the next guy came in and bought the land. And he found the gold. So, but I actually like to tell that story in the long version. I was actually telling another investor that story, and he goes, "My family's from the mining days. Like he has pictures like of his grandfather, so or whatever it was." And he told me a story about them mining. So they were mining down under the ground, going straight, right? And someone was just picking away, chopping away, and they went to their one hit. They went to go, and the axe got stuck in the top. And then when they pulled the axe down, things are falling, whatever, and they saw the gold above them. So if who knows how long they were digging straight for, right? But he kept doing it until just by swinging it up, an opportunity happened. He saw something where he didn't expect it, and that's what happens in real estate a lot. Is a lot of relationships pop up or opportunities come around that you're like, oh yeah, I could do that, or yes, we could piece this together.
Yep.
So
just by happenstance, guys. So
yeah, patience and momentum.
And and that goes back to just getting out there and being in the business. So Mike, I really want to appreciate you for taking the time to come out and talk to the subscribers. Again, if this is your first time here, let me know. Click the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. We have plenty of things for you. We have free resources at equityrealestateblog.com. That's equityrealestateblog.com. If you need a contract, if you need lead interview sheet, if you need to know the 14 most critical questions to ask your escrow agent before putting the deal in escrow. You know, you can go to equityrealestateblog.com and get all of that information. And then again, if you want a quick preview of what we'll be talking about next week, you know, go to the description below and you can read and find out what we'll be talking about next week. And then don't forget, we have the 30-minute free consultation. If you want to talk to me, pick my brain for 30 minutes. You can ask me anything about real estate wholesaling and beginning as a newbie investor. Give me a call, put your information in the box in the description, and we'll have that telephone call. As you can see in some of my other videos in the descriptions, there are people that called me and talked and really gave a great testimonial about some of the conversations we had. So again, feel free to ask any question. Let's get started. Let's help you get on your way in real estate wholesaling. We're not only doing deals here in Phoenix, we're doing deals in Chicago. We're buying property for passive income. We're doing all kinds of things, guys. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Love to talk with you. Love to chat with you. It's Marcus Maloney, the Equity King, signing off with Mike Dale Prete at We Hire Houses.
Thank you.